All right. Happy Wednesday. Good to see everybody. Welcome to the weekly Zoom call. Tonight's topic is all about treading water, maintaining, not letting it all go during Thanksgiving, during Christmas, during whatever holiday you guys celebrate. This could go for 4th of July or any other time, but especially this time of year, it's always difficult to navigate all the holiday social gatherings, all that good stuff. So that's kind of what tonight's topic is. I'm trying to think if there's anything else, any other housekeeping notes or any of that good stuff. I don't believe so. Thanksgiving obviously is next Thursday. Nicole and I will be out of town on leaving Saturday, coming back like Tuesday or Wednesday. So, obviously with Thanksgiving kind of thrown in the mix, I would love for you guys to check in. I still want you to check in. You can do it Thursday morning. I probably won't respond on Thanksgiving Day, but I'm happy to respond on Friday or even Saturday before we head out of town. If you want to take the week off of check-ins, I'm not going to be upset about that either. I get it. You guys have a lot of family stuff, and I'm sure nobody's really looking forward to stepping on the scale after Thursday. But I will say I personally love, now this is just me, and that's because I'm weird and data is king, and I really like to see how my body responds to food. But I like stepping on the scale after a day like Thanksgiving. Because I know that on Friday, I'm going to be locking back into my normal meals anyway. So I always like seeing, okay, the scale went up by this much. Now, how many days of just consistently, nailing my plan does it take to get that weight off? Usually it's only a couple days. Usually it's just a lot of water intake and then just nailing my food, and then I'm back to square one, and then we're off and moving right now. But anyway, before we kind of dive into this topic a little bit more, I want to kind of pause. Does anybody have any big fears about this? Does anybody have any past struggles? What is in the past holiday seasons, how much weight has people gained? Has that been tough kind of pulling off? I don't know if you guys want to answer any of those questions, but I would like to kind of hear it. All right. If not, though, so let's go ahead and dive into it. So essentially, how to handle Thanksgiving and all the holidays, stuff like that. So let's just think about this coming week. We are about 7 days away from Thanksgiving right now. I know everybody's obviously varied. Some people have, Friendsgivings and stuff they're doing, dessert navigation. We'll talk about that in a second, Krista. We have, Friendsgivings. We have other, some people don't just celebrate on Thanksgiving. I've got Nicole's dad's side, Nicole's mom's side, and then my family side as well. And I got, my dad's side and my mom's side. So it's essentially 4 different Thanksgivings we're going to be partaking in, couple of which are going to be on Thursday. One of them will be on Wednesday night, I believe. Yeah, Wednesday night. And then I'm not sure when the other one's going to be either. So I got 4 different meals to kind of navigate with it. But so essentially, first and foremost, since my first one is on Wednesday night, I want to keep things in check and control as much as I can over the next week. That way I can, again, just stay within my habits. It's always about controlling the controllables. So I'm going to treat the next 7 days as I always would. What can I control? When is my cheat meal? All that good stuff. So this weekend, I'll probably likely still have my cheat meal, and I would still recommend you guys do as well. Unless you just want to forego it, but I would still have that. It's not going to be a huge deal. But again, control all the other, 95% of your guys' meals. Control your water intake, get your exercise in, all that good stuff. Obviously, as we enter next week, it's going to be a little bit busier. So again, it comes back to controlling what you can. Monday and Tuesday should probably be pretty easy for a lot of people. If you're traveling, let's try to make plans with that. Always bring in, protein options with you and things like that if you are traveling for those times. But aside from that, just understand that no matter how next week goes or how the holidays go, that we don't have to just fully let it go. Again, if we gain 5 pounds after Thanksgiving, that weight's going to come right off. But it won't come right off if you wake up Friday morning and you're upset about what that scale says, and you say, screw it, I'm just going to enjoy myself on Friday because it's the day after Thanksgiving, and that's just what I want to do. Okay, well, now you just let 2 days, or 1 day turn into 2 days. And then the average person is going to say, all right, well, it's Friday, and I just screwed around on Friday as well. I'll lock back in on Monday. Okay, so now all because you had Thanksgiving, you're going to let 4 days go off the rails instead of just that one. Not a good mindset. That's the same cycle that a lot of us are here because of, is that exact mindset. And so that's one of the biggest things we got to break. It isn't just, bettering our digestion. It isn't just getting better sleep. It isn't just, making the habit of getting to the gym and eating healthier foods. It's the mindset is the biggest aspect of it. Anybody can follow a plan for a couple months just blindly and rigidly and do that. But if your mindset isn't actually truly changing with it, then it doesn't matter what you do for just a few months because it's not going to stick for the long term. So let's start making these changes now. And that's, again, why I love working with clients during the holidays, is because this is when you can truly see like, okay, I can't be perfect this week, but I can be 90% spot on, or I can be maybe 75% spot on. So that's exactly what I'm going to do. I got a couple of comments here. All right. So Haley answered the question I asked a few minutes ago. For me in the past, I would always think I instantly gained 10 pounds after Thanksgiving and they would say F it the rest of the week. But now having been doing this for a week or a while, I realized that weight gain is not instant. It's like you said, it's water and bloat. Exactly. No matter what I eat today, if the scale is up by 10 pounds tomorrow, it's not body fat. You're not going to gain body fat like that. Your body does not work like that. Now, if I don't do something to get that weight back off, if I don't lock back in, it will turn into body fat. But one day of that is not. Like you said, Haley, that's going to be water, that's going to be bloat, that's going to be, food volume that's still in you. Your digestion is slowed down, so things aren't moving very, very smoothly. So once we get a couple of days under our belt, we'll be all right. You have 3 meals a day, and day you have three Thanksgivings over 4 days. Well, that's only 3 out of 12 meals. Exactly. So if I have 3 meals a day and I have 3 Thanksgiving meals over those 4 days, that's exactly right. That's only 3 out of 12 meals that are a cheat meal. The other 9 meals can be fine and not derail you. That's just how I'm going into the holidays here, which is perfect. It's exactly what we're talking about right now. If, 3 out of 12 meals are not going to be that controllable for you, that's fine. You're still going to have a 75% success rate if you control the other meals. And mathematically, logically, that makes a lot of sense. Now, actually getting into the application whenever you get in the next week, that's a tough thing as well. For instance, we just had yesterday, they always do a big like Thanksgiving luncheon type thing at my school. So everybody brings in all their best, tastiest, unhealthiest meals. Some of it's fairly healthy, but a lot of it is, all the tasty desserts and all that good stuff. And so it's a lot of fun to go up there and go look around all that stuff. And, I have the self-control where I can go up there and I just want to go browse. I'm going to go check out what they got going on. And realistically, could I partake in that and it not be a problem? Of course I could. But I like to prioritize it for a different time. At school, I'm not going to eat with a lot of my coworkers usually. I like being in my office, eating my normal meals with it. I'll usually watch a little bit of ESPN during that time, and I'll save my cheat meals for, my family or friends or Nicole or whatever the case is. So I don't want to blow it on just a Tuesday at lunch at noon. With people I don't care about as much. Not that I don't care about my coworkers and the other teachers, but again, I want to prioritize my cheats for my family. And again, knowing that Thanksgiving is coming up next week, I'm going to try to minimize all the extra, mess around time and mess around foods and stuff like that this week, because I know I'm going to partake and indulge a little bit next week anyway with it. Now, in terms of what am I going to do on those days, for instance, the Wednesday first meal that I have, I think it's at like 7 p.m. I'm going to do what I recommend all you guys do. If you're going to have a cheat meal, you're just replacing one meal. I always recommend it's a higher fat meal or higher carb meal of what it is that you have on your plan that day. Replace that meal with whatever that cheat meal is going to be. So number one, I'm going to probably do that. I think what we're doing Wednesday night is a little bit less traditional. I think we're going to go out to eat. So that's easy. I can look at the menu ahead of time and I can, adjust my carbs and fats during the day. I'll usually go a little bit less than that anyway. I think right now I'm eating about 350 grams of carbs. So I got plenty of room within my diet. Another perk to reverse dieting. So any of you out there that's currently in a reverse diet, or I've mentioned should be doing a reverse diet and you're scared to add food in, that's one of the perks of it, is the higher we can get those carbohydrates. If I have 350 grams to play with, that's a whole lot more wiggle room than if I had 100 grams to play with. And now if I go a little bit over, it's not going to be a huge detriment. And again, I have a lot more room that I can kind of cut back from. So that's what I'll likely do on Wednesday. If you are somebody that's in the middle of a cut, which I know a few of you are in the middle of a cut that's on this call right now, and you're not going to have that kind of wiggle room within your macros. So essentially, one of the best things I would do, for instance, like on that Wednesday night for myself, is if I was in the middle of a cut, I would pull out all my rice. I'd pull out pretty much all of my carbs during the day. Same thing with fat. If I have coconut oil, olive oil on your plan, if I have eggs, replace those with egg whites. I'm going to choose the leaner protein options and get rid of as much of the fat and the carbs as possible. That way I have plenty of room come nighttime for that meal. Especially if you're actually doing a really big Thanksgiving meal, sitting down at a table with all the fixings and all that stuff, is I want to give myself plenty of room for that. So let's say you are cutting and you really don't want to go overboard with it. And this is what we should all do anyway, whether you are cutting or not cutting, is go into that meal and say, okay, I'm going to fill up my plate with a lot of protein and maybe some veggies on the side of that, and get filled up decently, with that protein, because that's going to be a lot more satiating and more filling. And then I'm still going to enjoy the sides, but I'm not going to go heavy handed with all that stuff. But when it comes down to it, let's say Thursday rolls around and you're like, I've been crushing the plan. I haven't really had a lot of mistakes or off days. I just want to have a day where I do whatever I want, whenever I want. Have that day. If it's not going to be a big detriment to you, if you're not going to let it snowball into having that same mindset come Friday and Saturday and Sunday, then enjoy that day. None of us should be tracking our calories and macros on that day. None of us should be super rigid on Thanksgiving. Enjoy this stuff. We do this. If we should be aiming to be consistent year round for the most part. Making good, healthy, mindful decisions 90% of the time. But then we have days like this, and it's important to give yourself the grace of that, because what's the point of crushing all year round if when you can actually get together with friends and family, you can't even fully enjoy yourself? I mean, to me, that's what life's all about anyways, is those experiences, those memories with our families, which, I think we all take for granted as well. Whether you have, little altercations or little disputes with family members and stuff. I mean, life is super short. I didn't know that last year was going to be my last year with my grandma. So, taking advantage of those times as well, and not being super, super rigid on that day is important, and being super present is super important on that day. But just knowing that the next day you're going to lock back in, and that's super key. So then again, for me, that's Wednesday night and that's Thursday. I got a couple different meals. I don't know when the other one's going to be. But ultimately I'm locking back in on Friday. And actually on Thursday, if you have the time to get to the gym in the morning before the festivities start, I personally like that. I'm trying to put those calories to some good use. I'm going to go smash the gym on Thursday morning. I don't think I have my first Thanksgiving until like 1:00. So me personally, I want to get up and I want to go get good workout in. I mean, that to me makes a good, well-rounded day anyway. It's what I like doing anyway. I look at it as a day off of work anyway. So let's go take advantage of it and do what I want to do. So Nicole and I will probably wake up, go to the gym, come home, shower, and get ready to go to our first Thanksgiving. And again, I'm not doing that necessarily for the calorie burn aspect. It's just because that's what I want to do on that day. That's what sounds fun. But there is that added benefit of, okay, I just burned some extra calories with it. So I'm going to go, enjoy my Thanksgiving meal. And then just as important, probably the following day on Friday, I'm also going to probably be getting to the gym as well. So I'll plan out my week so I can lift on Thursday and Friday. And then Friday, go right back to the normal meals. And this is something that I think should be pretty helpful to a lot of you. Like I know growing up after Thanksgiving, every single place we went to, all the different families, is we're trying to take leftovers. So we have food for that night. We have food for the next day or that weekend. I recommend not doing that. And this should have been kind of a day one thought to you guys anyway. If you got junk food in the house, get rid of it. If you're somebody who really kind of caves in on that and struggles with that, if it's there's going to be days where you're stressed or you don't have the right food, prepped, or maybe you just don't want to eat that right food. Well, now if you got a bunch of junk food in the house, you're probably going to go eat that. Same thing with the leftovers and stuff like that. Keep the leftovers of the turkey or maybe the ham, something like that. But outside of that, I recommend not bringing home extra slices of pie. Enjoy that there at the moment, but I wouldn't take it with you, because then again, now you're turning one cheat day, and this is actually an official kind of a cheat day, and now you're going to turn that into 3 or 4 days. So we don't want to do that, obviously. Now, Krista, to your question, you said dessert navigation. So kind of to the point that I just said, Krista, you've been absolutely crushing it for 6 months, and week after week, you're making a lot of progress. Like Haley said, one day is not going to destroy us. It's going to destroy us if we let one day turn into 1 week or a month or whatever the case is, but one day is not going to destroy you. So if you want to be more mindful of it. I mean, me personally, what I'm going to do, what I always do with desserts anyway, or any of the sides, is I'm not just going to load up my plate with all of it just because it's Thanksgiving and it's all there. If it's on a scale of 1 to 10, how much I enjoy that food or how much I think I'm going to enjoy that food, if it's maybe only a 5 or a 10, I'm not going to eat it. That makes no sense to do. I'm just half-ass eating food that I don't really care that much about just because it's Thanksgiving. Why get in 4 or 5, 100 extra calories on something that's not fantastic? Krista, 7 months, who's counting? You have been crushing it. But yeah, so I'm gonna prioritize what sounds good. To me, green bean casserole probably isn't gonna be my favorite thing. Depending on who's making it, I guess. Certain houses I'm gonna really enjoy that. Some houses I might not enjoy that. But so again, I know what I'm gonna enjoy. You guys all know what you're gonna enjoy. You know what you're like. What just sounds good? What Thanksgiving food just sounds absolutely amazing? You cannot wait to eat, and prioritize that. Again, prioritize the protein, but aside from that, prioritize what sounds good and take full advantage of that. But don't waste extra bites or extra, sides of the stuff that's just there just because it's there. Prioritize what makes sense to you. But then again, it's just coming back to, okay, all right, let's get past Thanksgiving. Okay, we made it past Thanksgiving. We get to Friday, Saturday, Sunday. We get right back on our plan. We get meal prep. We do all that normal stuff. If you're out of town during that time, you're not going to be able to be on point with that. And you would treat that just like any other time you're out of town on a Saturday or Sunday. Bring some protein snacks with you so you can at least try to hit your protein goals with it. Be mindful with it. If you're going out to eat a couple times during that day, try to pick 1 or 2 meals that are a little bit healthier. More nutrient dense focused, proteins, veggies, fruits, that type of stuff, and then enjoy one other meal for enjoyment. If you're there at somebody else's house and they're making all the food, again, bring your protein powder with you. If you want to bring extra cooked whatever, but even if your Thursday turns into a Thursday through Sunday thing, again, the first meal you can be locked back in on, have a plan in place and execute that plan to lock back in on that very, very first meal. And again, like I personally, I think it's a good thing to see where your weight is after that, because honestly, you might see, holy shit, I only gained a pound, or, oh my God, my weight's still the same thing. That means you did a pretty damn good job of moderating. And that's another way that you can kind of learn this stuff is that, okay, I drank all my water. I did get in a workout on Thursday and I enjoyed all the food that I wanted to enjoy, and boom, my weight didn't even really change at all. So you might be pleasantly surprised, or you might say, oh my gosh, it went up 5 pounds. I locked back in for 3 or 4 days and boom, I'm right back to where I was. So then now you're learning a different thing. Now you're learning that I don't have to be so fearful of a bad day. I don't have to let a bad day just ruin my entire week mentally and emotionally. One bad day, if I can erase after Thanksgiving, I can erase after any other day. So again, this is a great, great teaching time of the year for this stuff. And then again, once we get past this coming week, then we have the last few days of Thanksgiving of November and into December, and then Christmas on the horizon thereafter that, 25 days later or so. And for me, again, when I'm looking into kind of planning out and thinking ahead about what all I have coming up, and that's what you guys should do as well. It isn't just thinking about what am I doing on Monday or this coming week, but I'm also thinking a little bit longer term as well. What am I doing this week? But what do I need to keep in mind for a month from now, for 2 months from now? And these things might even help keep me in check on my nutrition. So for instance, after that, then I've got Nicole's 30th birthday on the 15th. I think we're going to a concert on like the 13th. And then I'm going to Vegas on the 16th for the Olympia. Underestimated has a booth at the big expo there. And if you don't know what the Olympia is, it's like the Super Bowl of bodybuilding. I'm not competing. I'm just there at one of the booths for Underestimated. But I'm trying to go there, be as lean as possible. So I've been trying to kind of maintain the shreds and my physique post show last time. So I'm also keeping that in mind as well. So I don't want to just let it all fall off the rails. So thinking ahead about all that type of stuff, you're going to be totally fine if you're just getting right back on track as soon as possible. I don't think I need to hit that home anymore. I think I said it as many ways as I could. So I'll kind of pause for now. Anybody else have any questions about how to handle Thanksgiving, how to handle the holidays? Remember, these are same exact approaches that you should take into any other holidays, into a birthday week where you might have 4 or 5 celebrations. Again, like Haley said, 3 meals out of 4 days is only 3 out of 12. And actually for me, I eat 15 or 18 meals over that amount of time. So it's even less a smaller percentage if you're looking at it from that perspective. But again, like a birthday week would be the same thing as Thanksgiving to an extent, because you got family and friends that you want to go out with. So moderate what you can and you'll be all right with it. But the main thing is to give yourself grace during this time. And the other main thing is to think about, okay, the rest of the normal days, the normal weeks, is why it's important that we're taking advantage of those things. If you have the energy, you slept well, your body feels good, but you didn't go to the gym, you just wasted a perfect day that you should have been at the gym. Or you just, you got home tired from work, you had the right meals prepped and ready to go in the fridge, but you're like, I don't really want that. So I went and indulged on pizza today and just had an extra cheat meal. We have so many holidays and special events built into our years. We have such busy stretches here and there that's why it's more important that we're taking full control of the weeks that we have the ability to have control over. Let me know if you guys have any other questions. We can also make this a Q&A, so it doesn't even have to be about Thanksgiving or the holidays.
What's happening, Marcus?
Yo, what up, Dex?
So my question, I didn't join the last week's session, but I listened to it.
As soon as you popped on there, I knew you were about to ask what your question was. You didn't get an answer last week. You listened to it and didn't even get a damn answer, did you?
I listened to it, yeah, but I was able to hop on. But if you don't mind answering that one,
yeah, of course.
I got.
Give it to me again. I don't have it on my notes. Right
Okay. So I had asked I guess what's some of the reasons and I guess strategies behind when we lift, like doing like
different rep ranges,
eccentric and like the amount of reps that you give us sometimes, because when you it can be different every time you change it up every once in a while, and it could be something different. So just curious what the reason is behind it.
Yeah. So a few parts of that. First off, I like the shirt that you got on right now.
Oh shit.
What's the bottom of it say?
It's a sexy motherfucker, because we did that race, that mud race thing.
Okay.
A couple months ago, and then I didn't come up with the shirt. One of the teammates come up with it.
I like it. You don't have to give me that caveat. But no. So anyway, to answer your question though, for instance, let's start with kind of reps. We want to kind of change the different rep ranges on what it is we're doing for a couple different reasons. We want to be as strong as we can with any given rep range. So if we're working at the 5 to 8 and we're thinking a lot more strength focused, then we want to get as strong as we can within those rep ranges. If we're doing 8 to 12, or we're doing, a higher rep count, a lot more volume with it, we're getting into the 15 or 20s, we still want to be as strong as possible at that. So let me kind of pause with that exact thought right there. The average person, I say, if I'm training somebody and I say, hey, we're going to do 15 to 20 reps of this, they're going to go grab a weight where 15 to 20 reps is easy. They're thinking, oh, lightweight. All right, I'm just going to go grab this and move through 15 to 20 reps. And chances are they probably could have hit 30 or 40 reps with the weight they grabbed, because they saw a high rep. I need to go really, really low weight. That's all wrong. If I have on there 15 to 20 reps, or I have on there 5 to 6 reps, I want that 5th and 6th, or that 19th and 20th rep to be equally as hard. We're just lifting a lighter weight with it. So we want to get as strong as we can within that rep range. And again, that's going to help us out with a lot of things. The lower rep ranges are going to give us a lot more strength, whereas the higher rep range is also going to give us that endurance and be able to sustain that strength throughout. There's a Matt who's in this group as well. He's an ex-NFL player, and so we've hit some workouts together as well. And he's used to training as essentially a power lifter, a big strength. He was a lineman, so he's really big on lifting low reps on things and just as heavy as possible, doing a lot of compound lifts, snatch, deadlift, cleans, bench press, squat, all those kind of big movements. And then, very little isolation type movements. So then I took him through my type of training, and he realized really quick, while his strength is there, he's way stronger than me, but I could do a weight for 12 to 15 reps a whole lot easier than he could, even if it was the same exact weight than he could, because he hasn't built up that endurance along with that strength that he has with it, because that's just not the way his body has ever been trained with it. And then the other reasons that I'll give you other different things there. Number one, eccentric. if we're focused on the eccentric, and if anybody doesn't know what that is, concentric is like if I'm doing a bicep curl, concentric is contracting that bicep and bringing that hand closer to me. I'm contracting that bicep muscle. The eccentric is the lowering portion. Okay, so we actually get you build a lot more strength and you build a lot more muscle mass on that eccentric. So I'll see it all the time in the gym. People, again, if you're doing a bicep curl, you're going to curl up and then you're just going to let it fall down to the ground. So all you're thinking about is this contraction, but then you're just letting that arm fall back down to the ground. Same thing with like on bench press. You'll see somebody, they'll push that weight up as hard as they can, and they'll just kind of like let it fall down to their chest, and they'll do that again. Well, if you're losing that eccentric portion, that's half of the rep. That's half of the work. That's all that time under tension. And the longer that muscle is under tension, the more it's getting worked and the more it's going to build and the stronger it's going to be with it. So that's another reason why, I put on the eccentric, and that's a way that I train as well, but it's challenged you to be a little bit more methodical with it and actually feel that movement. Because that's another thing as well is and that's one of the downsides to online training like this is I don't know what exactly your workouts are looking like in person. That's why it's so awesome. Like Dexter, whenever you and I get to train together, or Haley and I, or Chris and I, or Tim and I, is that I get to see how you're actually training and how you're executing these movements. Because it's a huge win for a lot of people here in TLF just to get to the gym. That's a huge win for a lot of people. But once you're there and you're there consistently, okay, now we want to start maximizing our time here. And if we're going to be here for 45 minutes, I want to get 45 minutes of work out of it, of quality reps. If you're going to be there putting the work, you might as well do it the right way. So if I put on there eccentric, it's forcing you to really take your time and really be present and have that mind and muscle connection about thinking about that bicep or thinking about whatever it is that we're doing. So again, if I just put on there 3 sets of 10, you're just going to fly through it back. All right, I got my 3 sets of 10 done. And so like when I'm seeing people, because one thing I do get to see on your guys is anytime you complete a workout, it tells me what you rated it. So that RP or maybe RPE, it's essentially rate of perceived exertion on that workout. How hard was your workout is essentially what that's asking you. And so when people go on there and they put, 3 out of 10, any workout that I'm giving any of you guys, I would do myself. And if my intensity is there, if I'm picking the right weights and I'm executing with perfect form on everything, it should be close to a 10 out of 10 most days, regardless of the workout that I'm giving you. And one of the biggest differences is that it doesn't matter what reps you're doing. It doesn't matter exactly what exercise you're doing. You need to be picking the weights that you can do with perfect form, but the highest amount of weight you can with that perfect form. And so if I'm saying do 10 reps, you should be able to do 5 and 6. 7 and 8 should be hard. 9 and 10 should be very, very hard. Now, again, not to the point where we're going to be getting hurt, but that's the weights that we need to be choosing. So I don't want you to just be able to execute 3 sets of 10 with no problem. I want you to struggle to get 3 sets of 10. 3 sets of 6 might have been, easy with that. But again, now we're pushing for the 8 to 10 rep range, and those reps should be super, super hard. So then the other reason why, Dexter, you're going to see different, each of my workout phases are a little bit different. Number one, the workout split might be different. The frequency might be different, and that might change with the volume. So essentially, if you're doing a whole lot of sets and everything else, then I might be giving you a little bit more rest with it. But again, one of the biggest reasons why I'm giving you guys all these different phases that look a little bit different is because I want you to have more tools in your toolbox. Essentially, I want you to try training these different ways. So you're like, oh shit, I've never trained like this. That worked really, really well. I love training like that. Some people really love, push and pull days where you do, on a push day, you do chest, shoulders, triceps, and quads. And then on a pull day, you would do, back and hamstrings, and biceps. Like some people really love that full split. Some people absolutely hate it. And they like the isolation of just doing arms today, just doing chest tomorrow. So I want to cater to that and give you kind of what you want, but I also want to challenge you to train in a different way as well. That push and pull method, anytime I saw it on like a workout plan, like growing up in like magazines and stuff, I was like, I don't want to do that. Like, I don't like full body workouts. To me, that wasn't what a bodybuilder did. Well, actually, I did a prep like that where my coach had me do a push-pull method, and I only trained 3 days a week, and I maintained more muscle mass than I ever did during a prep. I got stronger throughout the entire prep. My squat doubled over the course of that like 12-week plan when I was doing that push-pull method. And I would have never chose to do that on my own. So by having a coach tell me to, hey, go try this and try to execute it, it was a good, so now that's a tool in my toolbox that I can always go back and use. So that's, hopefully that someone answers your question, Dexter. Was there anything specific that I missed in there that you want to know?
No, that answers it. Just wanted to know, like, overall in general, kind of what the idea is behind that. So
Yeah,
you answered it for me. Thanks for that.
Yeah, of course. And another thing as well, though, is that I want you kind of hit different rep ranges and stuff like that. So again, I don't need to reiterate it, but we're trying to get strong in these different rep ranges. But ultimately, I don't want your workout plan to look identical, because our bodies do get used to what it is that we're doing and the stimulus that we're providing it. So by changing the order, starting with a compound movement or starting with an isolation movement, if you've been doing something for about 12 weeks, we want to deload and then we want to hit it from a different angle, perhaps, and just mix things up just slightly. Really, all the basic staples in the gym are what we should all be doing anyway. Some sort of a squat. There's only so many different bicep variations you can do. Same thing with tricep, stuff like that. So, I'm not creating these crazy weird exercises because that's not needed. That's not what's ever worked. And it might look cool on Instagram to see all these crazy variations, but if it really, really worked, and if it was a really big solution to whatever you're trying to grow, everybody would be doing it, and bodybuilders would be doing it. And honestly, just looking at bodybuilders, if you're trying to actually gain muscle mass, those are who can do it the best. And so trying to emulate kind of what they're doing is a big key with it. But good question, Dexter. I'm happy you're able to get that question answered. Yes, sir. Anybody else got anything? And totally separate. I don't know. I know Haley here listens to Caleb and I's podcast, Food, Fitness, and Family. A lot of that is really reiterating, balance and everything that we're doing. Because, we do want to be healthy, but we want to be healthy for our families and everything else with it. So the reason why I say that is because the last week our topic was on how to execute your week. Some of these topics you're going to see some kind of crossover from what we kind of talk about, and you'll hear Caleb's different side of things as well and his different angle with it. But this week we're going to record here after this, so we'll be talking about a similar topic that we're talking about right now. So if you want to hear the same conversation twice, then listen on that one. But again, you'll be able to hear his perspective on things as well. But then on top of that, guys, I would truly appreciate, even if you're not a podcast listener, Nicole's not a podcast listener, but if you wouldn't mind at least subscribing to that, I think it'd be awesome. And downloading, I think we just passed 1,000 downloads in our first eight episodes, which is absolutely insane to me. I thought that we were never gonna get to that. I thought it was going to take us 100 episodes to finally get to that, but we did it in 8, so that's pretty cool. But anyway, though, 7:37. You guys got anything else for me? Again, holiday related or something totally different?
You said you're going out of town next week?
Yeah, on the Saturday after Thanksgiving.
Where are you going, if you don't mind me asking?
Nicole and I are going out to Colorado. We try to get out there once a year, and this year it didn't seem like it was going to happen, but
okay.
She was able to get a couple of days off work. We got some friends in Denver that we're going to stay with and save a little bit of money, but I'm looking forward to it, though. And boss is too. Anymore, I want to get out. I don't even know where he is. I want to get out there because he just loves hiking. And obviously Kansas City, like we got a little bit, we'd like to take him to Shawnee Mission Dog Park or Shawnee Mission Lake. They got some good hiking trails out there as well, but nothing beats the mountains.
Gotcha. Yeah.
I'm sure it's going to be snowing a whole lot, but he likes that anyway. It creates for a pretty cool and quiet hike, though.
I was gonna say that's a big dog, so he can probably handle it.
Yeah, he handles it pretty well, and he does better in the cold anyway. Whenever we take him out there during the summertime, he gets tired a lot faster. But wintertime, we're the ones that get a little bit tired, though. Yeah. Oh, Krista, thanks for listening on the podcast as well. Happy you're getting those body shop emails. I'm getting those as well. But anyway, friends, well, I won't take any more of your time. I appreciate you guys all being here. Hopefully you got something valuable out of this, even if it was just a quick little reminder. But again, give yourself grace for Thanksgiving, for all the holidays we got coming up, and go into things with a plan, and you'll be all right. And again, if you gain a little bit of weight, It'll be totally fine. It's just water weight, just a little bit of bloat, just a little bit of slow digestion. Oh, the other thing I forgot to say is on Thanksgiving, down lots of water. That's one of the biggest things that people will slack on, including myself, on a day like that, is just not, because we're out of our routines. We're not drinking all of our water. So be really mindful of that. If you can improve on one thing this year, is try to get down a lot of water. It's going to keep you a little bit more full. It's going to keep your digestive system working just fine. And again, it's going to reduce the amount of weight that you end up holding onto the following day. For instance, this Sunday, we went to we had to do a bunch of loading and stuff for Amelia's, and I went straight to the Chiefs game. And I think he only had like 1.5 of these. And like today I had 4 of these. This is 50 ounces. So I had about 200 ounces of water. That day I probably had 75 ounces of water. And my macros were all on point for the day, but I was up, I think, 4 pounds on Monday. And it was purely because of that lack of water. My digestive system was off. Things weren't moving well. I didn't go to the bathroom very well on Monday because I was dehydrated. So make sure you're getting that water. You'll be all right. But anyway, friends, good talk this week. Next week, we won't be having a Zoom call, just so you guys know, because it's Thanksgiving. I'll be at Nicole's mom's that night. But anyway, friends, happy Thanksgiving, and I will talk to you tomorrow on check-in day.